Hello, and welcome to the AutoZone and Edgenet Supplier webinar. At any time, you can ask questions through your participant panel to the bottom right-hand side of the screen. We have specialists that will respond to your questions either during the webinar or as a follow-up, as needed. This webinar will be recorded and posted on the AutoZone Supplier website. If you're listening to a recorded version of the webinar and you have additional questions not covered in this session, please email us at autozonesupport@edgenet.com. During this webinar, we will review several topics. The first item we will cover will be why AutoZone has chosen to partner with Edgenet and what the overall objectives are for this program. Next, we'll want to give you a little background information about Edgenet, followed by topics around data challenges and supplier benefits. And finally, we'll review the overall process for the program and the next steps. For AutoZone, there are 4 fundamental areas that will be impacted by the Edgenet program. First is selling more products online and driving consumers to the stores. AutoZone has spent a tremendous amount of time and resources in enhancing the online experience through their website, but without good quality product information, the benefits won't be fully recognized. Key enhancements around search and compare must be supported by complete and quality data, or the consumer will have a frustrating experience. Also, AutoZone wants to be able to quickly expand the offerings on the web. This will provide a much richer experience for the consumer and ultimately more sales for AutoZone. We'll discuss some of the key features on how Edgenet will help facilitate the expansion of offerings later in the presentation. The second item is selling more products in the store. Not only will the enhanced website assist with driving traffic to stores, but having better quality information on products available to the AutoZoners servicing these consumers will greatly improve sales. The expertise of AutoZoners can vary, and they can't really know everything about every product. So having good product information to support our applications will ensure that they can service consumers and find the right products regardless of their expertise. The product will sell itself by being accurate and searchable by multiple characteristics. Speed to market. Speed to market has a direct impact on sales. As new products and parts become available, we need them in our systems as quickly as possible to make sales. If they aren't in the system, a customer or AutoZoner can't find them to place the order. Edgenet is going to greatly reduce the time required to get your products online and in our store systems and be available to sell. At last, but ultimately, the most important objective for AutoZone is to provide a better customer experience. Consumers are demanding. They want immediate access to information for their own research. We know from our surveys and from customer feedback that consumers want to be able to do more research before they actually make a purchase. We also know from these surveys that we need to make changes and improve the information available to our consumers to make the experience better and more complete. To do this, we need more than application changes. We need quality and complete product information from our suppliers. In AutoZone's research into options about how to reach their objectives, they engaged with Edgenet. And over several months of discussions and discovery sessions, it was determined that Edgenet was the perfect fit, not only for supporting these objectives, but also bringing together a solution that would ultimately benefit the industry as a whole. Now let's talk a little about Edgenet. Edgenet has been in the marketplace developing data-driven solutions for the past 20 years. Over the last 6 years, we've focused on developing a data synchronization solution that solved problems for not only retailers, but the suppliers as well. Throughout the last several years, we significantly enhanced and fine-tuned the process on how to not only successfully collect and distribute product information, but more importantly, how to manage the ongoing maintenance of that product information. It's important for you to understand that our offering is not new or in development. We currently support thousands of suppliers, hundreds of thousands of items, and millions of attributes. Our solution is proven and scalable in some of the largest retail and supplier channels in the U.S. One of the key lessons we learned over the years has been that the core to successfully coordinating between multiple enterprises, suppliers and retailers, is that you have to have a strong support environment for both, and that both sides are uniquely different in the support that they need. Edgenet has a dedicated support center in Atlanta that specializes in working with suppliers of all sizes and technical sophistication. We have proven that providing a high-touch, customized support system specific to assisting the supplier is one of the keys to successfully synchronizing data between the provider and the recipient of this product data. We'll talk about this a little later in this presentation. AutoZone will be leveraging Edgenet's expertise around product data maintenance to expand their online and in-store sales capabilities and to ultimately provide more advanced features to not only the supplier and the retailer, but also to the consumer. In our discussions with AutoZone, the industry organizations, and suppliers, we have found that most are working on some type of product data strategy. These efforts include working on standardization around data definitions. The issue that is inherent with standards based on data is that it tends to be limited and provides only a portion of the full set of data needed to market and sell products. Each retail or distribution environment has unique environments and requirements. One size does not always fit all. Edgenet fully supports standards organizations and the definitions that have been defined and approved. This includes the standards as defined by the AAIA. We'll be incorporating these into the offering for AutoZone and for the suppliers. Overall, in our research, we found that data issues cause a business impact for both the recipient and supplier side of the business. Complex and manual processes limit growth and cause errors and confusion for both associates and consumers. We'll be talking a little bit more about the business impacts later in our presentation. The real challenge is coordinating multiple organizations and their resources in acquiring this product information. AutoZone has resources and applications from multiple divisions that need your data, and they need this data from hundreds of suppliers. If AutoZone only had to collect data from one supplier and one resource, there would really be no issue. But the reality is that suppliers are getting multiple requests from different resources at AutoZone and transferring data in multiple directions, with varying skill levels and multiple formats, with different descriptions and with different requirements. This complexity makes it impossible for AutoZone and the supplier to keep everything synchronized and updated. The issue is more complex than shown here in this image, given that in most instances there are multiple resources within the supplier that are involved in providing the data to AutoZone. With Edgenet, we eliminate the complexity by clearly separating the process in which a supplier provides the data and the processes in which AutoZone receives the product data. As a supplier, you will provide complete product data one time in a consistent format. You never have to consider how AutoZone needs the data, both format and method, or how many times they receive the data. On the other side, AutoZone will receive the data in a single data feed, tailored to their requirements. AutoZone never has to consider the method in which the supplier provided the data or how they chose to maintain the data. The separation of collection and distribution of data significantly reduces not only work and timelines on both sides, but also opens up opportunity to spend more time enhancing and extending your product information to sell more products. This separation of processes allows for a write once, publish anywhere environment for the supplier. Any registered receiver can subscribe to your data, and you'll never have to worry about the delivery. If the products are the same, you don't have to re-enter the information for multiple receivers. In our process, attributes are inherently normalized in the collection process. Now what that means is that data is consistently defined for products in the same category, allowing consumers and associates to easily search, compare, and research your products. Normalization doesn't limit your ability to provide unique information on your products. In fact, it allows you a consistent method to identify where this uniqueness stands out and it belongs, so the end user clearly knows the advantages of your products. We also include a centralized digital asset management solution. We call this a digital asset solution because we accommodate all types of digital assets, not just images. This includes warranty information, manuals, PDFs, MSDS sheets, and other types of digital information, and of course, any images of your items. You will have the ability to load all of your DAs into the system, reuse them for multiple products, archive, and replace when needed. Let's look deeper at the benefits from inside a single supplier. Normally, there are multiple resources within a supplier that contribute elements of the product data. Someone in marketing owns copy, someone else owns the engineering information, and sales controls pricing. Synchronizing data internally can be as difficult as working to provide data to your own receivers. With the Edgenet solution, you can have a central location to store and maintain all your attributes and digital assets for your products. Each resource can contribute their portion of the details as needed and have visibility into each product. Once your product data is complete, our centralized management system allows AutoZone and any other participating receivers to subscribe to your data without you having to enter items multiple times. Again, we handle the distribution process. You never have to worry about the transmission or the format. As an added benefit to you, the supplier, your product data is also available to be published back to you for use internally. Earlier, we talked about AutoZone's need to support multiple applications and resources with your product data. A major initiative is to enhance the e-commerce experience, expand product offerings online and in stores, and to reduce the overall cost to ship and stock items. It's critical that no matter where a consumer or end user interacts with your product data, the data needs to be consistent. A consumer logging onto a website and walking into a store should see the same information. It's also critical that you, a supplier, have the ability to provide the product data once to support all of these different uses without having to worry about formats or methods of delivery for each application. AutoZone should also be able to submit a single request for supplier product information and receive all the information needed to support all of their applications. Let's take a look at the impact of data on a consumer's experience. Consumers today are very demanding when it comes to researching products online. They have no patience for websites or manufacturers that can't provide the detail they need to ensure they're purchasing what they need and want. Incomplete data has a clear impact on consumer experience. Consumers want to research, review, and compare products before they make a decision to purchase. Without good data, they are too limited in how they can view your products. They may not even be able to locate your product if the data won't support their search choices. Bottom line, consumers will go elsewhere if they can't find what they need. In sharp contrast, with great product data, a consumer can browse, search, and easily locate and select the right product. A clear differentiator in a consumer experience is the ability to see images, view specific details and information to ensure they are selecting what they want. Good product data makes your product look its best in front of a buyer. So how do we get there? First, we need to have a good understanding of what types of information you need to sell a product. Good product data includes three logical types of information. First, you need logistical or supply chain data for a foundational understanding of the product. Data that is used for supply chain planning, forecasting, and execution. This data includes weights and measures, packaging information such as case and pallet information, and this data is used to help reduce supply chain cost through more efficient planning for storage, transportation, and store configuration. Next, you need marketing data. This is the information that markets your item to the end user or the associate. This is the data that helps to educate and sell to an end consumer. This data includes marketing copy, bullet points, technical characteristics, and digital assets like rich images and multimedia files. This data is used to increase sales volume and drive price. And finally, you need private data. Private data is used to define your relationship with a specific receiver. This could be their internal SKU, promotional information, pricing, and other types of information of this sort. Private data is specific to a single receiver and is not shared with other receivers. Fundamentally, all three types of data are needed to sell an item, and all three need to be collected cohesively and maintained as a single item record, thus reducing the overhead on the supplier for data synchronization and maintenance. Now let's look at how these three types of data come together in a specific use for e-commerce. As you can see in the e-commerce environment, the majority of the data is marketing content, but you still need some of the GDSN information that's relevant to a consumer, like dimensions. And you need the information that is specific to the AutoZone price. All of these attributes are needed to fully educate a consumer. Not only do you need complete product information, the information needs to be accurate. It needs to be quality data. There are three areas that we define to ensure quality data. The first is on entry with data validations. Edgenet provides multiple methods for validating data as each attribute is entered. An example is that we may limit one attribute by a drop-down box selection only, or we may restrict the value type for an attribute. The second element is making sure the item information is complete. Did you enter all of the required attributes? We handle this through a sophisticated workflow check prior to any publication of the item to AutoZone or any other receiver. And last, content review. We allow the category manager to review your items as necessary. They have the ability to send the item back to you if they see an issue or accept the item to process to the data feed. All three checks are necessary to ensure AutoZone is receiving high-quality data. In the evaluation process, it was critical to AutoZone to identify the value a supplier would get from participating in the Edgenet program. Our teams identified two key areas where suppliers will see benefits. These areas include process and quality improvements and business improvements. First, let's look at the process and quality improvements. From a quality perspective, the primary goal is to get great data. You achieve this through the guided process we incorporate in our system to not only validate each attribute of data, but also to ensure that the data you provide is complete. We include a step-by-step process that clearly defines what is required, what's optional, and we include information on what is an expected value for each. Next, we provide the supplier with an automated process to make updates and discontinuations on a daily basis. If you need to make changes, then these changes need to take place as quickly as possible. Earlier, we talked about how a supplier can benefit from having a single location for managing product data, and this can be a significant advantage to a supplier. We provide a single collaborative environment for your resources to work together to complete the product information, and this product information is available for your own use internally. Finally, the Edgenet solution is software as a service. What this means is that you don't have to install any hardware, software, security, backup, disaster recovery, nothing on your side. All you need is a browser. On the business side, there's a direct impact from the quality and process improvements we just discussed. Ultimately, you want to sell more products. If a consumer or an associate can't find your product, they won't buy it. If they don't have enough information on your product, they won't buy it. Complete information ensures your products can be found, researched, and purchased. If a consumer or associate knows what they are buying or recommending, they make fewer mistakes and they make fewer calls to ask questions. This leads to fewer returns and happier customers. Customers don't want to make repeat trips to get what they need, and an associate doesn't want to sell the wrong product. Along those lines, a sales associate learns which supplier they can count on when they're looking for good, accurate information, and they migrate to these suppliers and their products. We want to make sure the AutoZoners can depend on the information you're providing. Now, let's take a look at how this entire process will work. This is a high-level overview of the 6-step process that takes you from the initial enrollments through to the data being delivered to AutoZone. The enrollment process is the first step. After this webinar, you will receive an email from an Edgenet enrollment specialist. In this email, you will receive a copy of the Edgenet enrollment manual as well as contact information for your specialist. The enrollment specialist is there to answer any questions you have and to make sure you understand the overall process. Please make sure you leverage your resource. They can answer your questions and provide guidance. Once you enroll, you'll be encouraged to participate in the training sessions at AutoZone. You can register for these sessions now, but you won't be confirmed until your enrollment is complete. As part of the enrollment process, you will have a click-through acceptance for an agreement that includes confidentiality language. This is both for your protection and our protection. We will be training you on our systems as well as discussing best practices for data acquisition. Once you complete training, you will receive a notification on beginning the data collection process. It's important to note that we have reasonable expectations on the timelines necessary for you to provide your data. Some of you will be very quick, and others may take more time. When your data is complete, you can publish your information to AutoZone. The Edgenet solution works on a subscription and publication process. AutoZone will request access to your product data, and you, the supplier, will authorize them to have access. Once this link is created, any updates to the items will automatically flow to AutoZone for their review and finally to the content feed for their application use. Once the initial item is provided to AutoZone, ongoing updates will be provided to AutoZone on a daily basis. Now, let's review the next steps for getting started. The first action you need to complete is setting up your account with Edgenet. The supplier registration website is a wizard application that walks you through your enrollment process. In order for you to enroll with Edgenet, you will need to know specifics on contact information and company information. Please refer to the enrollment manual that you receive after this webinar for those details. This specific screenshot was taken of the first page you will see when you begin your enrollment. The wizard application is easy to follow. However, if you're having trouble proceeding, please call the support center or your designated enrollment specialist. As you go through the enrollment process, you will see options for 2 different enrollments. As we mentioned earlier, there are 3 types of data we'll be collecting. The logistics data will be handled through the GDSN network. Many of you on this call are familiar with the GDSN and are already participants in the network. The marketing data and private data will be handled through the marketing data pool. Let's look at these in more detail. Edgenet marketing data pool includes marketing information and the private information we discussed earlier. Let's go into more detail regarding logistical data. Several of you on the webinar currently participate in GDSN and are familiar with the process of synchronizing data in this environment. For those of you that will be new to GDSN, the enrollment manual we'll be sending out after this webinar goes into more detail on how to register and get started with the program. GDSN, or the Global Data Synchronization Network, provides most of the data needed for logistics and planning purposes. This data includes weights and measures, along with packaging information such as case and pallet information. The GDSN network is governed by GS1. GS1 is a not-for-profit global organization responsible for the design and implementation of global standards for supply and demand chains globally and across sectors. GDSN is a network of interoperable, which means the ability to operate together, data pools. There are 2 basic data pools of information in the GDSN network. The supplier pool, this is where you'll be, the supplier, and you'll enter your data, and the recipient pool, this is where the retailer or recipient receives data from their suppliers. With GDSN, subscriptions are handled through the GS1 Global Registry. This registry is how a recipient locates and submits a subscription request for supplier data. You can think of the Global Registry as a phone book where recipients look for suppliers and products. By participating in GDSN, your company will be able to exchange data with any participating recipient, inside or outside the Edgenet network. If you participate in the Edgenet GDSN data pool, all of the functionality shown in the box is included within our systems, making it significantly easier to synchronize your data without having to leverage any third-party providers. The Edgenet marketing data pool allows the supplier to maintain the information critical to marketing and displaying products to consumers and associates. Like GDSN, the marketing data pool is a network of interoperable data pools. There are 2 basic data pools of information in the marketing network. The supplier pool, this is where you, the supplier, enter your product data, and the recipient pool. This is where the retailer or recipient receives data from their suppliers. Unlike the GDSN network, subscription requests are handled internally within the Edgenet network. Marketing data is the information a consumer searches, compares, researches, and reviews. These include descriptions, bullet items, images, warranty information, manuals, instruction guides, and anything educational and informational about your product. You differentiate your products through marketing information. Again, with Edgenet, all the processes in the box for the marketing data pool are included in the Edgenet network. Within the Edgenet network, we consolidate the GDSN data and marketing data for delivery to AutoZone. There are a few tips on preparing for enrollment. First, find out if you have a GLN. This is a global location number and is a unique identifier for your company. The enrollment manual includes information on how to locate your GLN and, if you don't have one, how to register to receive one. The cost is minimal, but it's required to uniquely identify your company. Next, find out if you have a GDSN provider. If you don't know, the enrollment manual has a link where you can search to find out if you do. You are not required to sign up for GDSN through Edgenet, although there are some inherent benefits by doing so. If you enroll with Edgenet's GDSN service, you can maintain all of your product information in one single location. If you are with another GDSN provider and want to switch to Edgenet, we have a process on how to make that change. Your enrollment specialist can help you. Finally, make plans for your enrollment. As part of the enrollment, you will select a plan based on your needs. Your enrollment specialist can assist by making a recommendation on your plan based on the information you provide. The plans vary and are based on the number of items you'll be entering into the system. The cost is tiered to accommodate a supplier who may have one item versus another that may have 50,000 items. By spreading the cost out over our entire supplier base, the fees are very reasonable and affordable for even our smallest suppliers. As we mentioned earlier, the plans are tiered to accommodate companies small to very large. Your enrollment specialist can help guide you to the plan that best fits your needs. When selecting your plan, consider entering all of your items into the Edgenet data pools, not just the ones AutoZone subscribes to today. One of the benefits of our system is that we provide a shopping environment for the AutoZone category managers. This system provides an e-commerce-like environment where they can view all of your products available, so they can see what they subscribe to and the items that are available that they don't currently subscribe to. They can add them to a list and do a subscription request to gain access to this data. Again, your enrollment specialist can assist in guiding you to the right plan. As you go through the enrollment process, you will need to notify a decision maker at your company. There is an online agreement that must be accepted as part of the process. This is a click-through acceptance process. The agreement includes confidentiality language for both Edgenet and you, the supplier. It also clearly states that the product data is owned by the supplier and not by Edgenet. Bookmark the AutoZone supplier website. This website contains information on the AutoZone program and will continue to evolve throughout the program. If at any time you have any questions about your enrollment, please pick up the phone or send an email to the support team at Edgenet or to your enrollment specialist. We are here to assist, and we are all excited about the AutoZone program. We want you to be comfortable with the process, and we want to provide all the support we can to make you successful. This is a snapshot of the AutoZone supplier website. On this site, you will see details on the overall program, frequently asked questions, including the ones asked during this webinar, and links to events such as the upcoming training sessions and support contact information. There are links to the enrollment site as well as documents with more details on the data program. We will also post notes or messages from AutoZone as well as information from Edgenet and upcoming industry events. So again, bookmark this website for reference purposes. AutoZone will be hosting 2 training sessions on site at their headquarters in Memphis. These sessions will include detailed training on the Edgenet system as well as best practices on providing good quality product data. We strongly encourage you to sign up soon to ensure your place in the training. Seating will be limited. AutoZone and Edgenet are requesting that you send 2 resources to one of the training events. It is strongly recommended that you send the individual responsible for complying with any data requests from AutoZone. This is the person who will be working in the system and providing the information that AutoZone is requesting, and the account executive. You can register for training through the AutoZone supplier website and select your preferred dates. You will not be confirmed for your selected dates until you have completed your enrollments in the marketing data pool, and we have confirmed you have a provider for GDSN. Make sure your decision makers are aware of the requirements to accept the online agreement prior to training registration. Once you're enrolled, you'll receive a confirmation email that contains travel information along with hotel recommendations and contact information for the AutoZone travel department. The home page for a supplier is a portal environment where you can quickly see information on your account. On the left-hand side, you see statistics on your items and any pending subscription requests. In the center, you see all of your trading partners and can quickly access information specific to each of them. On the right, you see quick links to help, training, support, and announcements from Edgenet. Overall, you have an application that provides a personal environment to manage your products and your relationship with your trading partners. With Edgenet, you have options for providing data based on your needs and what type of technology or lack thereof that you may currently have. The first option is an easy-to-read user interface. This option is great for adding a handful of new products or making changes and updates on a few. You can work on one item at a time or expand your view to multiple items. The second option is our Smart Spreadsheet. These spreadsheets look like regular Excel sheets, but they are much more than that. They include built-in intelligence to help ensure data accuracy, and the information is specific to the process step and category of a product. These sheets can be downloaded for offline use and then uploaded to update the information online and vice versa. You can work on your information online and then download an updated copy for offline work. Our smart spreadsheets are ideal for companies with several items to maintain. Third, for our more technologically advanced suppliers, we can accept XML data feeds. This process is normally best for accounts with several thousand products and who have the resources available to work with XML. Regardless of the method you choose, your items will still go through the quality checks and balances included in our offering. Any issues are identified along with guidance for the resolution. Within the supplier portal, managing digital assets is easy with the ability to search, filter, and find the right images and assets for your products. As a supplier, you have the ability to upload and manage your digital assets however you choose. Formatting constraints and naming conventions by the individual trading partners are handled by our system. What we're looking at now is a screenshot of a feature we have in the system for AutoZone category managers and for all of our recipients in the network. Once you, the supplier, enter your product information into the system, your items are displayed in the merchant portal. This view is for an item you enter, not just the ones that are being subscribed to by AutoZone. An AutoZoner or any other retailer in the system can browse through items by category or supplier, much like an online e-commerce environment. The merchant can see all of the items available in the system, not just the items they currently subscribe to from a supplier. They can make comparison to see key differences in products and also to locate suppliers that provide similar items. As AutoZone locates new products that they're interested in, they can add them to their list for use in researching a possible purchase. Once they decide to purchase, they can initiate a subscription request directly from their shopping list. As a supplier, the merchant portal provides a system where you can get your products noticed and make them available for research for any retailer in the Edgenet network. As we mentioned earlier, AutoZone uses product data across multiple applications: their website, ZNet, self-labels, and others. In each of these applications, you see some of the same types of information. The differences between these various applications is not the data itself, but how it is displayed. By using Edgenet, your product information will be consistent across each of these applications. As we mentioned earlier, one of the keys to successfully implementing this type of program is a great support structure. Edgenet has a dedicated supplier support center out of our Atlanta office. You will have a toll-free number to call with any questions, as well as the ability to submit questions through email. We have support teams that specialize and are certified in different areas, including enrollments, data collection, and XML data feeds. There are no limits on how often or how long you can talk to our team. We will stay on the phone with you until your question is resolved. Also, your AutoZone team is available to help with questions you may have, so please reach out to them if you have questions. So let's summarize the next steps. After the webinar, you will be contacted by your enrollment specialist to offer assistance with any questions you may have and to help you select your enrollment plan. After your enrollment and training are complete, you will be contacted by the Edgenet Services Center to assist with the data collection process. We will send you an email notification regarding your timelines, and we will follow up with you throughout the process to assist with any questions. Our support team is very proactive during the initial data collection to ensure you receive any assistance you need. Feel free to call our support team at any time with any questions you might have regarding the data collection process. You now have all of the information you need to get started. After the WebEx, you will be getting calls from the AutoZone enrollment team to answer questions and discuss the specifics of your enrollment. You will also receive a detailed enrollment manual to guide you through the process of enrollments. If you are new to GDSN, the guide includes detailed information on getting started and acquiring your GLN. Log on to the AutoZone supplier website and register for your preferred training dates. Remember, seating is limited, so be sure to log on as soon as possible. Enroll in the Edgenet Marketing Data Pool. If you're not registered with a GDSN provider, you can enroll with Edgenet GDSN through the same process that you use to enroll with the Marketing Data Pool. If you have any questions about the program or enrollment process before we reach out to call you, please call us or send us an email at autozonesupport@edgenet.com. On behalf of Edgenet and AutoZone, I would like to thank you for your participation today. Our team is very excited about working with you on this important program. Thanks again.